Hey guys, welcome back to part number 2 of the 7879 Dreamliner build. So we're actually going to do some main assembly this week. So we're going to put the fuselage halves together, take care of the seam line, get the wings built, all that kind of stuff. So we're ready for paint next week. So let's go ahead and get started. Hey, welcome back. So hopefully you had a great week, and we're going to continue with this guy. So we did the windows last week. Now we're going to take care of the main seam line. Well, firstly glue it together, then take care of the seam line. So what I have done since last week is, last week we did obviously add the nose weight, which is the 1/4 ounce on this side. I went ahead and just added another 1/4 ounce to this side just to balance it off. So we've got one on each side. So it was 5 grams of nose weight. If you convert 1/2 ounce into grams, I think it's about 14 grams. So we're obviously way over what we need, but it adds a little bit of balance to it, I think. So where we're at now is we're ready to kind of put this guy together, and just looking at this, it looks like a really nice fit just without any glue. So what we're going to do to glue this is you want to use a glue that's very thick cement. You don't want to use extra thin because it's just going to evaporate, because by the time we work that glue all the way around the edge here, it's going to take 30-60 seconds to do it. So by the time we clamp it together, that glue will be evaporated. So you're going to use something thick. So Revel contactor, Humbrol, old school tubes and stuff will probably work. I'm going to use the cement, which is this stuff. Again, I talk about it all the time. It does come in a hexagonal bottle, or this with a white top. I just change out the top with an extra thin brush, just because it's a lot thinner. Because the brush you get with the normally with these guys is really thick and a little bit unwieldy. So this is cement. It's like a resin based, and I do love this stuff. Anything more than that, like an inch long, I'll use this. I just really like using this, and it helps kind of help fill out like self level and fill out some gaps and stuff too. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to run around this. I don't think I need to worry too much about elastic bands and clamps and stuff, just because it's just from dry fitting it feels just such a great fit. So I'm just going to work my way around the whole aircraft with this glue as quickly as I can. And then, so we'll start with this glue, and then we'll come back with the extra thin down to weld them together too later on. Okay, I don't need to be too neat with this. I'm just going to, again, working with time, because I don't want the stuff to dry, because it's such a long fuselage. But we obviously want to make sure we get coverage of glue too. Nice healthy dose. Then I definitely want to put in here too, where the nose wheel is going to go. And back here. Oh, making a big mess now. Okay, so I've got glue all around the edge. I'm just simply going to offer up the other side, line this guy up, and here it kind of clicks. And there we go. Again, I'm not worried about the mess of the oozing out, because we can take care of this. So make sure it's all pressed together. And what I'm doing, I'm going to clamp with my close pegs. I'm going to clamp the tail. And again, and really, this glue's really sticky. It's just doing a great job of holding it. And I'm just going to bring in these clamps. I don't care so much about the bottom, it's all about the top, this with these guys. You're not going to see any of this. Again, just kind of pushing it and prodding it where it needs to be. And that is pretty much it. So I'm gonna let this guy sit for like half an hour or so just to solidify, and then we'll come back and we can actually extra thin to weld the seams up too. I just want to make sure the set's in good shape and stays together, and then we can come back and take care of this. Again, there's a little bit extra glue here oozing out. I'm just going to wipe it with my finger or a paper towel, but we'll sand it off later. Alright, so it's been about an hour, and obviously the glue's dry and stuff. There's still some little gaps and whatnot, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to run some sprue glue around the seam. So I was going to run some extra thin, but sprue glue is basically extra thin with plastic card mixed in, so it's a little bit thicker. But just like that, it looks really good actually. It's not too much work left to do, I don't think. So again, this is my extra thin cement mixed with white plastic card, and it's getting a little bit thick, so I'm going to have to kind of dilute it down a little bit. But I'm just going to run a bead across all the seam lines here, and basically what it'll do is it'll fill the gaps and also help kind of glue it. It's basically molten kind of hot plastic, so it's just going to melt and then help those seam lines. Alright, so I continued with the sprue glue all around the edge, and you see I sanded it back, no problem at all. It feels really good. I think it's good, it's nice and joined, but we won't be able to get that primer on. There might be a few little pieces touch up here and there, but yeah, fitting really smooth and good. One thing these tubes are, it's obviously hollow, so if you put a lot of pressure on this, it still might crack. So I know some people in the past have put like insulation foam and stuff in here just to kind of pad it out. But I think it's, we're not going to fool around and play with this or anything. It's going to be a static model, so I think we're going to be fine. So still a lot of bits here and there to touch up, but I'm going to put this aside for now and work on the wings. So throwing around pretty straightforward. Basically got the main part here, and just like we did 737 last time round, you can build separately. And I think I did a quick dry fit. I think we can do a separate. It's such an amazing fit. There's no there's no lines or gaps. This thing's going to be able to do separately, which makes things a lot easier to work with in the spray booth, and we can just add this on at the very end, I think. So I've chopped it off the sprue gate and the sprue runners, and you can see there's still like little lumps here and there. I've learned that if it doesn't impede with the actual join, it's probably best just to leave it, because if you start sanding it now, you can create grooves and gaps and stuff, whereas once you glue it together and then do it, you can get a better, smoother finish. So what we're going to do is we're going to join the wings to this part right here, and I'm just looking around where we join this. So it's basically we're just going to go around with the glue again using a white top cement. And we're just going to make sure we put a healthy dose. Stuck in my boom hand for the mic. Let's go around, and then we're just going to put this in place. And taking my clothes pegs, just going to hold this in. Boom, boom, boom. Probably on right there too. And like that. So I'm going to do the other side too, same way, and we're just going to leave it like with these pegs, I don't know, for a good half an hour or so, and then once it's fully dry, we can come back and we take care of sanding down those little kind of nasty bits where we cut it off, the attachment points, and then we can see how well this fits against the aircraft. Like I said, I did a quick dry fit and it did seem very nice, but we'll look again once the wings are on. Alright, so the wings are done. Actually left them overnight. Yesterday evening, now it's the morning, and looking really good. As always, a great fit, and now I kind of glue them all together. What I did was I took a old kind of smooth sanding stick, and this plastic is pretty soft, and I just sanded down and took away all those like little kind of attachment points and stuff from the sprue bit. Seeing a little bit more right there, but yeah, no problem at all, looking really good. So that's the wing section. Again, you can see the size of this thing, and coming back to here, So yeah, I did a little bit more work on this, and I did find a couple of these windows were a little bit kind of concaved or indented, so I just added a little bit of white sprue glue, again, just to fill them in. We'll send that back in a minute. A couple of parts left to do on here. C13 and 14, these guys here, I put them on, I think we'll be fine. They do overlap by like a mil over the wing section, but I think when you push it and click it in, it won't be a problem at all. So did add those two pieces. The little aerials and stuff we're obviously due at the very end. And also added the windscreen here, the windshield screen. Not a great fit. There's a little bit of a gap around the edge, to be honest with you. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, we're going to fill it anyway. We're going to paint over. Well, we're going to paint over it, should I say? And we're going to add a decal, so it's not going to be a big deal. I might just add a little bit of filler just the corners here, just where it's a little gap. But there we go. So let me show you how great fit this is. So it's such a great fit. Same as 737, we can actually paint these separately. It makes it easier. So we're not doing a giant like footprint in the spray booth. We're painting these individually. It's all going to be the same color though. Being a Dreamliner, the wings are white, just like the fuselage. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slide it underneath those two bits. And just squeeze it, push it in, click, click, click. Oh, and look at that. 0 seams. Just a perfect fit once again, Zvezda. That's why I like these Zvezda kits. I know I'm a bit of a fanboy, but Revell, you're not going to get this kind of fit at all. You're going to be fighting with filler and all kinds of issues, whereas this, you see, just fits perfectly. And take it out, we're just going to push it up and pull it right out. And then again, we're just painting this separately, and at the very end, just click them all together, and it'll make it a ton easier to work with. So that is pretty much as far as you want to go in the main assembly. We also got stabilizers to do. That's not going to be a big issue, just 2 parts. I don't really need to show that on camera. But what I'm going to do now is really just, again, just take care of, just sand down where I filled these few little windows. A little filler on here, then give the whole thing a wipe down with a moist paper towel, or maybe just put it on the sink, just wash it all the dust off. There's tons of dust from the sanding. I just want to get nice and smooth, so we'll get that done, and then next week we'll come back and we will start painting it. So we're going to pretty much prime it, we're going to paint it, and then it's not just a straightforward white. We have to paint the front section grey, but a nose blue to match the decals. So yeah, a few little things to do, not be super easy, a few little things to do here and there, and I'm sure, again, this looks really good, but once you get the primer on, we'll know for sure how well this the seam line looks. But yeah, this is the end of part number 2. Thank you for watching. As always, we'll be back next Friday with part number 3, where we get into the painting, and yeah, have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.